Alright, hello everybody. This is the Ashish Narayan Sports and Political Podcast. We welcome you in today. Just in the previous segment, we discussed the national championship game. Very exciting. I'm very excited. We're gonna start up in about 45 minutes. They say 8 o'clock. It'll start at 8:15. Just the way these things go. But I'm very, very excited for this game. Very, very excited. And I'm excited for every national championship. I think the ratings are going to be awful this year. That bodes well for the Midwest, I think. And I see it playing out in a couple of different ways. Though I do believe it's going to be close. Right, I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I hope it's closer than a lot of people think. In fact, I hope Georgia wins the football game. But I have Alabama winning. I have the dynasty continuing. But anyway, we shift gears to politics and immigration. I talked about most other social issues. Right, I talked about race, gays, and transgenders. We'll talk more about African Americans and discussion topics about them later on as they appear. Right, we have an Iran deal analysis tomorrow, foreign policy related show, and analysis from the post game. And what team won and what team lost. So, there's a story that comes out today, Breitbart, a bunch of other news outlets, right? About how the arrests for serious crimes, or of any crimes, I should say. I shouldn't label them like that. Arrest for crimes of DACA immigrants or people under the DACA program went up like 24%, I guess. And there's a bunch of stories about who examples of people that got arrested and things like that. That leads me to this. Maybe the people were right that DACA was not a good thing, that it was risky, that ending DACA would in fact be a good thing, and that it would end up working for the benefit of American safety, right? Maybe they were right about that. On the other hand, there are a lot of good people under the DACA program. A lot of young kids that are good at heart and that didn't want to come here illegally. So, Trump's deal, and this is my opinion, what the smart political thing to do is, what the morally correct thing to do is this. Okay? If you come to the United States under an illegal pretense, and we can't bring you here, right? With proper documentation and stuff like that. You can't come in. And now, everybody talks about, right, how they help our economy. Yes, they do, in a sense. But the reason why, even if we brought these immigrants here legally, and if we brought them in bunches, that the economy wouldn't work very well, or that over time there would be ramifications, is that what you see, right, is that these immigrants make an average of $36,000 a year. Not very good. This tells you that they don't have the vocational skills to do not much other than like basic stuff. And that because of this, they won't help develop our economy. See, that's the issue we face with poverty, especially in the African American communities. Not trying to point a finger at anybody. It's simply due to lack of opportunity. But the reason why so many of those people are in poverty is because of a lack of education. Therefore, they can't earn as much as people on higher income levels. And I'm pointing out the African American race because a higher percentage of the African American population is on welfare than I think any other population. Right? So what am I left with here? You're bringing me unskilled workers illegally that we have to give welfare to in our already bankrupt country. But the morally correct thing to do is keep them and their families here. Right? And the politically correct thing to do, it's political suicide not to keep them here. It's political suicide not to keep these people here. So the choice I am left with, right, is to keep them here, but to keep, so in order to make sure, right, that we have skilled immigrants coming to the United States, not just an influx of unskilled workers, and to also make sure that we don't allow people here that are criminals, that'll make money off criminal things, such as drug infiltration and murder and being members of gangs like MS-13, in order to adjudicate both risks and win a political battle on both sides, right? You offer up, hey, DACA will stay as long as we build a border wall. Makes economic sense, makes moral sense, makes security sense, makes political sense. And the logic of keeping DACA the way it is for the people that are already here, it's that in itself is not making sense now, because the arrests for violent crimes by these people is up 24%. So even explaining that, even giving that logic makes no sense now, or less sense now. So for the Democrats not to give Trump this deal is absolutely ridiculous. To not give him this deal when it makes all the sense in the world, it makes everybody happy, right? And your case is being weakened as the days go by. Seriously, come on. What type of a joke are you, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer? when it seems like you don't have the country's interests in mind when you talk about this. It just seems like you don't. Like, you care about winning for your party rather than winning for everybody. Because if you win for everybody, that's a Trump win. Because Trump did this. Trump passed this law. Very well then. That may be the case. But let's be honest. Let's be very honest. Democrats were never going to give in. Democrats are never going to admit that this was actually a good idea. They were always just going to admit that Trump was this racist loser. They still admit that. But they do realize when he does the not racist thing, okay? When he does the not racist thing, when he does the politically correct thing, the thing that's in the interest of everybody involved, the citizens that have views either way, the actual immigrants, the country's welfare, and they don't elect compromise. Whether or not it makes them look bad, they're a joke at this point. So that's my take on it. And in terms of keeping DACA, it's very difficult for me to say at this point, right? Due to the fact that you have a severe uptick, in crimes committed by these people, yet you still want to go ahead and continue the program. Doesn't make sense to me, but it's also the politically correct thing to do. They'll say some stupid thing like, these people don't represent all of us, right? Some stupid crap like that. But the representation of actual criminals that are doing criminal things, right, in the United States that are illegal under the DACA program is increasing mightily and fast. So we have to make a decision here. For me, I would keep it, but I would immediately deport all those that have been convicted of crimes. Immediately deport them, and I would demand that deal for the world so that those people don't come back over. That's what I would do. I think Trump did the politically correct thing. He covered all his bases. And yet, he's getting screwed because the Democratic leaders, okay, I don't want to pin the whole party on this, because Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, the two idiots, were the ones that decided that apparently represent the whole party. Apparently they do. It's going to fall on, the blame is going to fall on Trump. It shouldn't. Hopefully it doesn't. But, you know how the Democrats like to run narratives. I don't think I think if you asked most of the members, other than Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, and Pelosi and Schumer, that you'll get a reasonable response from most Democrats. And from most Republicans outside of the state of Texas, I think you get a reasonable response as well. I think this is good for the country, should be passed, it won't be passed. That's where I go. Now, on the subject of if you're illegal, you should be given to stay here. Well, maybe if you fit the needs of the United States. When the United States was booming as a government, what did it do? It restricted welfare to illegal immigrants. Instead, it gave that welfare in block grants to the states with a limited timetable, allowing the states to invest in job creation and or education, which leads to higher paying jobs, reducing the amount of welfare over a period of time by a large amount of money, increasing wages, right? And we'll get to this in another day. But that all starts with giving positions to the American citizens, and if you're going to give positions to immigrants, they have to be highly skilled and be extremely productive in this economy. That's how my father got here. That's how many people from South Asia get here, because they're educated, they can apply their skills immediately, right? You can apply them to fields that require a very good education. And we need more of those people here, with jobs being taken away due to automation and things like that. Again, I think for our citizens, and this is a tangent that I'm going on here, with maintenance, with actually building the robots, with building the automation, right, I think jobs will be filled. I don't think there will be a mass exodus of middle-income workers. I don't believe that. I think maintenance and making machines that make the machines will, in large part, be required in order for things to work right. And it incentivizes an increase in education, an increase in quality education, higher education, and seeking one. I think that's going to be very good for the overall health of the economy, even though this is coming many years down the line. Should look into it. And because of this, the bringing of illegal immigrants that are unskilled into the United States does not help our general economy and the health of our economy long term. Okay, that's it for this segment. We have a small little segment that I wanted to add in that I just remembered. Okay, and I think it's very important to discuss. That is up next on the Ashish Narayan Sports Political Podcast. Very special late Monday show. Sorry that we're late today. But it's a special national championship preview show along with political issues. Kind of split our time half and half, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. And I know the next subject's going to be political, but it's not an issue. It's more of just a plea. Right? So you can say it's a more politically themed show today. But not by much. And I will go to break. Thank you, all of you. Like a 20-second break. Because this next segment's going to be long, and we can't put this video on. We can't put very long videos on here. But, very excited for the game. Hope all of you tune in ESPN or on ESPN Radio. Hopefully it's exciting. Remember tomorrow that we have a post-national championship show and Iran deal talk, along with more foreign policy on the tremendous Tuesday, just coining it now, edition of the Ashish Narayan Sports and Political Podcast. Up next, why the media has gone way too far, if it hadn't already, against President Trump. That's coming up on the Ashish Narayan Sports and Political Podcast. Thank you.